Man, you ever notice how the adult industry is one of those topics that just makes people twitch? Like you bring it up at dinner and half the table instantly changes the subject to sports or weather. Like, how about them Lakers? Meanwhile, every single person there has consumed adult content at some point. That's the hypocrisy of it. Everybody's in on the game, but nobody wants to admit they bought a ticket. The adult industry's been around as long as humanity's been able to draw, write, and later, film. The oldest known erotic art is, like 30,000 years old, carved into cave walls. Ancient Romans, forget about it. They had entire walls in Pompeii covered in erotic frescoes. People think porn is some new problem from the internet, but nah, man. It's been part of our DNA since the start. The real shift started when technology made it easy to distribute. Printing press? Boom. Dirty books and woodcut illustrations. Photography? Bro, you could get real pictures in the 1800s and trust. Me? People did. And once moving pictures showed up, the industry jumped on it faster than anyone. VHS versus Betamax. This is one of my favorite examples. In the late 70s, you had two competing home video formats. Betamax was technically better quality, but VHS was cheaper and had longer recording time. The porn industry picked VHS. Guess which one won? VHS. The adult industry basically decided the home video war. And that's happened over and over. DVDs, porn made them mainstream. Streaming, adult sites were doing high-quality video before. Netflix was even streaming movies. Then you've got the golden age of porn in the 70s. Back then, porn wasn't just something you watched in secret at home. You actually went to a theater to see it. Films like Deep Throat and Behind the Green Door played in cinemas. People went on dates to these movies. Critics reviewed them. It was wild. That mainstream moment brought huge money but also huge backlash. Religious groups, politicians, they all came after it hard. That moral fight has never stopped. The home video boom in the 80s and 90s changed the game again. Suddenly, you didn't have to walk into a seedy theater. You could rent a tape and watch it in your living room. That privacy exploded demand. Porn wasn't just for the bad parts of town anymore. It was in suburbia, hidden in closets, under beds, behind VHS covers for Disney movies. Performer life is way more complicated than most people think. There's this myth that everyone in the industry is either living the high life or totally broken, and the truth is, it's a job. For some, it's empowering. You set your own schedule, you make good money, you work with people you choose. For others, it's grueling. Long shoots, physical exhaustion, emotional burnout. And then, there's the stigma. You could be making six figures, but once you step outside the industry, the judgment is brutal. The hypocrisy kills me. People will watch your work religiously, but if you move next door, suddenly you're a bad influence. That double standard says a lot about how messed up society is about sex. The business side is just as fascinating. You've got massive studios that operate like Hollywood, directors, lighting crews, catering, and then you've got solo creators on platforms like OnlyFans making more than some of those studios. The internet flipped the whole model. Now, a performer can go direct to their audience, keep control of their content, and pocket most of the money. But that also means they have to be their own marketing department, social media manager, editor, and accountant. It's a hustle. And the churn rate? Insane. A lot of people stay for a year or two and leave. The ones who make it long-term treat it like a real business, building a brand, branching into merch, appearances, sometimes even mainstream media. But most, they burn out quick. And through all of it, the industry adapts. Censorship laws change. They move to a new jurisdiction. New tech comes out. They're on it before anyone else. It's like this living organism that can't be killed. You can push it underground, but you can't erase it. You know what's crazy? The adult industry isn't just an American thing. People always picture Los Angeles, the San Fernando Valley, Vegas. But this thing is global. You've got massive production hubs in Eastern Europe, Budapest, Prague, whole apartment. Buildings basically turned into studios. You've got Colombia, Brazil, the Philippines, each with its own style, its own performers, its own audience. And here's the wild part. A lot of it is completely legal in those countries. Sometimes, even subsidized by the government as creative work. Meanwhile, in other places, you can get thrown in prison just for having a single DVD. So the industry is constantly shifting around the globe, looking for cheaper costs, looser laws, and bigger audiences. It's like this international game of whack-a-mole. Shut it down in one place, it pops up in another. And now with the internet, it doesn't even matter where the studio is. You could be shooting in a tiny apartment in Belarus and streaming to millions in the US in real time. Borders don't mean much anymore, and then you've got the behind-the-scenes stories. People think these sets are just endless orgies with perfect lighting and everybody's having the time of their lives. Bro, sometimes it's just two people trying to stay in character while the air conditioning breaks. There's a cameraman sneezing and a boom mic keeps dipping into frame. I heard about one scene where they were filming in a cheap rented house, and halfway through, the homeowner, who didn't know exactly what kind of film it was, walks in holding a sandwich and just freezes. Total deer in the headlights moment. They had to pay him extra just to not kick them out mid-shoot. Then you've got the wardrobe malfunctions. Oh man. Imagine you're in the middle of this intense scene, everything's going great, and suddenly, a prop breaks or a wig falls off or the set literally collapses. That kills the mood fast, and here's one people don't think about. It's a lot of stop and start. You're not just rolling straight through like in a fantasy. They'll be like, hold that pose. Okay, move your leg. Okay, stop. Lighting adjustment. All right, pick up from here. It's work. It's choreography. Half the time it's less sexy in person than at a DMV photo shoot. But the thing that blows my mind is the niche trend explosion. There's literally something for everyone. And I mean everyone. You scroll through a big site's category list and it's like reading a grocery aisle of human psychology. Some of it's tame, some of it's super specific, and some of it, man, you just sit there going, who asked for this? You've got the classics, romantic, hardcore, role play, costumes. Then the super specific, feet, food play, cosplay, step this and step that. You know the ones. Then the bizarre, clown porn, balloon popping, people dressed as dinosaurs. I'm not even joking. There's a market for it, and this is what's wild. These niches blow up because the internet made it possible for people with very specific interests to find each other. Before, if you liked something super out there, you probably thought you were alone. Now, there's a whole subreddit, a fan club, and 3 subscription sites just for you. That's where the cultural influence comes in. The adult industry doesn't just follow trends, it sets them. You see certain body types, grooming styles, or acts get popular in porn, and a few years later, they're mainstream in dating culture. People pick up on what they think is normal from what they see. That's why there's this whole conversation about whether the industry should be more responsible about representation, showing different body types, different kinds of intimacy, because it's basically sex education for a lot of people. And that's the scary part, man. For a lot of kids, their first exposure to anything sexual is porn. No context, no education, just the performance. And then they carry those expectations into real life. That's why you've got 18-year-olds showing up to their first relationship thinking it's going to look like a 30-minute scene with perfect lighting and a soundtrack. But the scandals, man, the scandals are a whole other thing. You've got the celebrity sex tapes, Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, which, by the way, probably launched entire careers. You've got politicians caught on camera, high-profile divorces where leaked footage becomes a weapon. And then there are the legal battles, performers suing studios for unpaid royalties, revenge porn cases, fights over consent and contract, violations. Every scandal brings a wave of, we need to clean up the industry talk. But it's like trying to clean the ocean with a sponge. The second you fix one thing, something else pops up. The lawsuits are fascinating too. Some are legit. Unsafe working conditions, breaches of contract. Others are wild, like the time a guy sued because a scene didn't live up to the description on the box. Imagine that you're in court, and the judge has to sit there and read a porn DVD synopsis out loud. And then there's the performer unions. Yeah, they exist. People in the industry have been fighting for health care, standardized, testing protocols, better pay. Some progress has been made, but it's still a tough industry to protect because of the stigma. But here's the thing, man. The adult industry isn't going anywhere. You can hate it, you can love it, but it's as permanent as eating or sleeping. It's tied to biology. People have tried to ban it, burn it, censor it for centuries, and all that does is push it underground where it's even harder to regulate. The smarter approach is to make it safer. That means respecting performers as actual workers, enforcing consent, making sure everyone's healthy, and giving them the same protections any other job has. That's not promoting porn,